This week on the Analog Circle podcast, we get some rumors on where the setting of Battlefield 6 will take place. Spiderman Remastered for the PlayStation 5 is finally being sold separately with a bit of a caveat. Nintendo's president Doug Bowser answers the question of would Game Pass ever appear on the Nintendo Switch, and the PS4 Pro and PlayStation 4 Pro the PlayStation 4 may be getting discontinued. All of these stories can be found here and more in episode 157 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I felt like I had to do one more episode for you guys. I felt like the way that I left it on that last episode, it didn't quite seem to wrap it up for the year the way that I imagined. So I had to come back for one more episode, guys, to talk to you about this gaming culture that we all love so much. Now, I have to start it off with this. Oh, by the way, before I officially get started, if you, the listener, want to be part of listener feedback, which will be coming back next year, you can do it two different ways. You can either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Also, if you want to listen to some previously recorded podcasts of the show, you can just go over to Google, type in the Analog Circle Podcast. It'll take you to where you need to be, and you know the rest, and enjoy yourself. Now, with that being said, I want to talk about what I've been playing this week, and it's no doubt what I've been playing. No question. I told you guys last week what I was going to get this week, and it is, of course, Gears 5 Hivebusters. And God dog, that game so far, it's a short game, 3 hours. It's not a whole lot there, but it's a lot there. Brand new characters. I've been enjoying it. Trust me, guys, I'm not that far in. Maybe 35, 45 minutes. Not much. Maybe an hour. Maybe an hour or so into the campaign. And I have been maybe a little more than an hour. But nonetheless, I have been enjoying it. I had some YouTube footage of it up. That messed up, so I don't even pay attention to that. Some kind of glitch when I started the game up on my PlayStation 4, golly, on the Xbox One, it gave me a black screen when it first loaded. So I'm like, what the world is going on? I hit the LB button, and it lit it up in black and white, and I'm like, man, I don't understand what's going on. But after I cut off the Xbox One, reset it, and had it reloaded back up, everything was fine. But I put it up on Twitter, the post as well. Follow me over there on Twitter. I ain't saying follow. Just join me over on Twitter at Kiaun79. If you want to, feel free. But the game so far, gameplay has been good. Graphics, it has really been a looker. And keep in mind, I'm playing it on Xbox One, the big bone, the VCR looking joint, and it's looking really, really good. So I can only imagine what it's looking like on the Series X and on the Series S. So bravo to the coalition for making some story campaign-driven DLC for a change, as opposed to making more multiplayer DLC. I hope that this becomes a trend. Like I was saying last week, hopefully this will kind of follow the comic book format, where it'll probably be, 4 or 6 episodes in 3-hour increments, and, kind of start a whole nother story that way. So I hope that this isn't the last campaign DLC for the game, because as long as they release these kinds of DLCs, you will get me almost every time with story-driven DLC. But outside of that, that is all I have been playing this week. So far, Hivebusters has been well worth worth the $19.99 that I have paid for it. And guys, with that bit of, what would I say? A bit of a description being said. That ain't even the right word and not news. Anyway, this is what I want to say. With that $20, I have gifts. Yes, I do, guys. I have here a $25 gift card. Yeah, I botched that all up. I couldn't think of the word I was trying to say to y'all. But with that being said, this is $25, an Xbox gift card for any of you guys that want to download Hivebuster. You might not have the money. Hey, trust me, it is the holiday season. I know people are out there shopping and they're, putting their last bit of money up just to make someone else feel good for a day. So with that being said, if you can use this $25, by all means, use it. So here is the code. Get your pens, get your paper, and get your crayons and whatever you need to write this down. Now, the code's number is C22Y3QCQYWQ. No, I'm sorry, not Q. 2Q994 RQXWTYH72Z. Hopefully one of you guys wins. Definitely let me know. I will shout you out. You can email the show. You know what it is, the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com, or call in at 443-216-9934, and I will be happy to shout you out. And that's just a small token of me saying thank you to you guys rocking out with me. The numbers, they really grew substantially this year, and that is all thanks to you. So round of applause for you guys just supporting, and I truly, truly appreciate it. But with that being said, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into what we all come here for, and that is the gaming news that went down. So let's start with some not so good CD Projekt related news when it comes to Sony. Now, SIE has posted something that is a very bold statement and stance when it comes to Cyberpunk 2077. SIE says, and I quote, SIE strives to ensure a high level of customer satisfaction. Therefore, we will begin to offer a full refund for all gamers who have purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store. SIE will also be removing Cyberpunk 2077 from PlayStation Store until further notice. Once we have confirmed that you purchased Cyberpunk 2077 via PlayStation Store, we will begin processing your refund. Please note that completion of the refund may vary based on your payment method and financial institution. End of quote. So here we have the biggest game of, well, I'm not going to say biggest, but definitely one of the top most anticipated games of the year. It has been, I'm sure, an absolute nightmare for CD Projekt Red. And to top it off, PlayStation is taking the game out of the store, out of the digital store. When have we ever seen anything like this? The only thing that I can liken this to, a game being taken off of a digital storefront, was, I believe, Steam back in 2015 when Batman Arkham Knight had released on the PC, and it came out super buggy. It was a mess. And those guys, they gave refunds and they took it off the store until further notice. Now, I have to ask the Cyberpunk 2077 game players out there, is this game that bad? Is it that buggy where Sony had to take it off of the store, or do you think that they are overreacting? I mean, here it is, the most anticipated game. These guys over at CD Projekt Red have done so much goodwill to the gamers. Gamers just praised them to the high clouds in the sky about how great they were, how consumer friendly these guys were, how giving they were when it came to the DLC of The Witcher 3. And then you come to this date today, which I'm recording this on December 20th, and they are in shambles right now. They even said that they're getting sued. I think AB sent me some article talking about that they're going to get sued because of, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I believe it has something to do with like false advertisement. Don't quote me on that, but they're trying to get them on a couple of things over there in Poland. So it's like a company that was once so just held in such high regard is now in the dumps over some bugs and some buggy gameplay or whatever the world was going on with the game. Me, I can't speak on it because I don't have the game. I don't have it. But for you guys that have it, please call in, write in. Tell me, is this an overreaction? Or is it called for? How many of you guys actually took back your copy of Cyberpunk 2077 because it was just that bad? I would love to hear from you guys, but man, it leads to the question. You know what? I think I know what the question of the week is going to be this week. Good grief. We're going to just go ahead and move on. I don't want to get too long-winded with this story, but man, what a sad time for CD Projekt Red, a game that everybody was anticipating. Keanu Reeves is in the game. The hype level was, like I said, just to the moon, and you release, and it's like all of that goodwill for all of those years when it came to The Witcher 3 has just basically been for nothing because people feel like they've done them wrong. It just, to me, I mean, look, I didn't pay my $60. I haven't played the game, but it just seems like a real overreaction. I mean, that's why I need to hear from you guys. Is it egregious what CD Projekt Red has done, or is it just being blown out of proportion? Man, oh man, it's just sad to see such a great company come under fire and whew, man, boy, oh boy, are they under fire, man. Things just are not going too well with the guys over at CD Projekt Red right now. Hopefully they'll get everything on track. I know that they sent out a bug. Not a bug. Good grief. They sent out a patch that's supposed to fix a lot of the bugs. So hopefully that makes the game, play in a much, much better state. We'll have to see. But let's go ahead and move on into the next story. Let's talk about some rumors about Battlefield 6's setting. Now, this rumor is coming from an anonymous Reddit user who is claiming that Battlefield 6 will take place in World War III. So this could mean it takes place in the present or the future. Now, also, allegedly, the conflict will center around NATO versus Russia, and the campaign is said to be done through multiple perspectives across multiple characters spanning several different parts of the world. Now, this game, I have to say, I think this is kind of anticipated by some, not by me per se, but the way that it looked at the first glance that I got of the game, I said, wow, yes, this looks next generation. And to that point, it is only releasing on the current generation console. So we'll have to see if these rumors turn out to be true. I don't know if it's going to be World War III for sure. You guys know how these rumors work. Take this with a mustard seed of truth. But I do like the fact that if it does turn out to be true, that the campaign will actually have, you playing through, well, not playing through, but playing with multiple different characters and seeing their perspective, from, the war from their side and what they're seeing, what their side is seeing, and, kind of switching it around to different parts of the world. That could be very cool and interesting, and maybe something that can make that story just that much better. But let's go ahead and let's talk about Spiderman Remastered, because according to a Eurogamer article, a standalone version of the game popped up on PlayStation official website, and it will set you back. This is actually confirmed. When I wrote this before, I was still trying to make sure, get more information on it, but and trust me, I ain't got no inside sources. I ain't one of these cats that will ever claim that. I told you, my inside source is doggone Google. So when I found the one story, I said, okay, let's see if I can find something else. And I dug into another story. So it is official. The game will be sold separately. Now it's going to set you back $40, which I don't think that's egregious. I think that's an okay deal, I guess. I don't think that's too unfair. I'm sure some people would have liked it for $30, but since we got that $10 hike this generation with games, then it kind of falls in line as to, I guess, where it should be. But this is the thing. If you own the original PlayStation 4 version along with the season pass, it won't let you buy the standalone version. It'll just take you to the PlayStation 4 version on the PlayStation 5 and have you play that version. So it sounds like it's probably some kind of bug. I'm sure Sony is going to get in there eventually, figure it out, and make sure that they kind of put that to the side, bypass it. It's probably something to do with the console itself, probably getting a little confused between the two different versions. But just be aware that if you do own it already, then it's not going to let you purchase it. But if you're like myself and you didn't get the season pass, I do have the game, but I never got the season pass, you will be fine to buy it separately for $40 outside of Miles Morales. And I think that's a great that was a great idea, because it did fall under a little bit of fire when it came out that you could only purchase the remastered PlayStation 4 version on the PS5 with the purchase of Miles Morales. So it didn't take them really that long to actually, start to offer this separately. Only basically a month. So that's really good timing on Sony's part. And not congratulations. That don't deserve a congrats. Just good on y'all for not having people have to wait a long time, like 3 months or 6 months, to be able to buy this separately. So yeah, that's great news. But let's go ahead and move into a quick Street Fighter V news story. Dan, I never can pronounce his last name right, but Dan, I'm gonna try, Hibiki, will be added to the roster in February. And according to Street Fighter V producer Shuhei Matsumoto, he confirmed, and I quote, "We understand many of you have been waiting patiently for the release of Season 5, and we would like to report we are working on delivering this content to you as quickly as possible." End of quote. So it seems like February, for you Dan fans, man, that actually rhymed, God dog. For you Dan players out there, he will be coming to the game in February, and just stay patient. They're gonna have that Season 5 DLC out to you guys as quickly as they can. Why did I just repeat what I just said? Golly, I gotta get better at that, man. But moving on into some more quick news, keeping with the fighting theme, Sephiroth, he is coming to Smash Bros. Ultimate on December 22nd, and the Challenger Pack 8, where you can purchase him, and it will also include the Northern Cave stage and new music. And you can purchase this, Sephiroth, and these other two things for the price of $5.99. Let's go ahead and, keeping with the Nintendo theme, let's talk about Nintendo's President of America, Doug Bowser, because he was asked in an interview. Now, I got this from Polygon, gotta shout them out, but during this interview, he was asked about Game Pass. He was asked something like, would Game Pass ever appear on Switch? And Bowser said, and I quote, "The way I would answer that, Russ, who was the interviewer, he said, is we are always looking at various ways that we can engage our customers right now." We have found that our catalog and the third-party publishing catalog that's available, whether that's through Nintendo Switch Online or through Frontline Game Purchase, has really been allowing us to do that. End of quote. So it looks like if Microsoft was to go to Doug Bowser, just off of this quote, he's saying basically, you know what? We would entertain that. They're always looking at various ways that they can engage their customers. So if it makes dollars, then it makes sense. If these guys can provide some games that people would be very excited about to pick up on the Nintendo Switch, then it is something they would consider. Can you guys believe? I said, look, out of everybody, I could never see Nintendo doing this, but they have a new president, Doug Bowser. He's different from all of the other guys that they've had in that spot, previously. So it seems like similar to Microsoft. If it can make money, if it can make our customers happy, guess what? That's what we're going to do. And now that the Switch is able to stream, man, this guy, I forgot who it was. I saw an article today. Didn't read the whole thing, just like tried to skim through. I really ain't even skimmed through. But the headline was, this guy, he actually made Cyberpunk 2077 actually stream through the Nintendo Switch. Now, I didn't really read too much more than that, but we heard that this was going to be the case, and one of the first games that was going to do it was going to be Control. So if and maybe, if Game Pass did come to the Nintendo Switch, it is a good possibility, depending on how well this streaming service actually turns out to be on the Switch, that this thing could possibly be able to stream Halo Infinite, possibly Hellblade 2. I mean, good grief. What's another game coming out? Joanna Dark. Perfect Dark. I mean, it's possible. So we'll definitely have to keep our eyes on this. I mean, that would be crazy. I mean, that would really have Nintendo. Wouldn't that be kind of counterproductive, though, to what Microsoft wants to do? I mean, let's say that did happen and they have the mobile market out there as well. I mean, I guess the two wouldn't have to really clash with each other. But if a person has a mobile phone and they have a Nintendo Switch and Game Pass is actually available on the Switch, I can't imagine a person would play a game on the phone versus playing it on the Switch. That could be counterproductive depending on what the customer may have. But then again, I guess it really probably wouldn't be counterproductive because they would still be able to get that person to be a customer, whether it's on the mobile phone or whether it's on the Switch. So I guess it's a win-win all across the board. But man, if this happens and if Phil Spencer goes to Nintendo, if he goes to Doug Bowser and says, hey man, look, we like your platform. We put Ori 1, Ori 2, we put Cuphead on there. Come on home, man. Just put Game Pass on there. It's going to do well for you. It's going to do well for your consumer base. That could just be the end, brother. God, dog. That could be the end. That would be a clear-cut sign to me that Microsoft is starting to back out of the console space of gaming. That's me personally. Anytime you're making moves like that, you make it very hard and difficult for a certain demographic to say, hey, I need an Xbox. And I understand they say that the optimal performance will be on the console. It won't be through Game Pass. That'll be a secondary way to play their games. But if you want the best experience, you'll get it on the console. But man, an average person, if they don't have $300 or $500, at least at this moment, that's how much the consoles cost. They're not going to do it if they don't have to. No matter how good of an experience it's going to be, if they can play the game on the Switch on the go or at home, it can make it difficult. But we have to keep our hands on the pulse of this one. This is very, very interesting, and I will be the first to say I hope it never happens. I hope it never happens at all. Because that's just, anyway, man, let's just go ahead and move on. Now, to the next story. Now, this next story, this isn't really anything special, but I did get some confirmation on something I wasn't aware of that I talked to you guys about. Crimson Desert, that game that looked absolutely jaw-dropping at the Video Game Awards, where I was like, I don't know if this is on PC. I don't know if it's coming to console. I don't even know if it's a Stadia exclusive. I mean, what the world is this game? Well, it turned out that this game actually will be coming to PC and consoles in the winter of 2021. And once again, if you haven't seen Crimson Desert, please do yourself a favor and just stop the podcast. Go on YouTube or wherever you got to go to check that game out, because it looks absolutely next generation. Like I said, it looks like a mixture of The Witcher 3 and Assassin's Creed. Just a wonderful looking game. But anyway, let's get into some PlayStation news, because it appears that Sony's PlayStation 4 Pro will no longer be sold directly by PlayStation's direct store, according to this PSU article. Now, the US-based store is listing both the PlayStation 4 Pro and PlayStation 4 as out of stock. Now, normally you would be like, well, hey, it's around the holidays. Maybe they sold out, because, I mean, the PlayStation 4 has an amazing plethora of games to play. AAA for days games to play. But this is where it gets interesting. The message actually reads, and I quote, "There are currently no plans to restock this item in the future." End of quote. Now, this is so interesting to me. Here it is. This is PlayStation's direct store, and their online message is saying that they have no plans of restocking the PS4 Pro and the PlayStation 4 in the future. This seems to go against everything that Jim Ryan was saying. Jim Ryan said that the PlayStation 4 is going to have the longest tail that we have seen. You know, the PlayStation 3 had hung around for a couple of years, but with Jim Ryan saying that they are going to continue to support and basically feed the PlayStation 4, I would have to imagine that casual out there, that once the PlayStation 4 was to reach that $200 price point, it would fly off the shelves, because we know that us, the hardcore, we're going to get the consoles within a year or two of it being released. But you have once again, the casuals, they'll wait a whole generation to jump on the last generation, because it's just cheaper and they're not in a rush to get those kinds of games or to get that level of entertainment when it comes to gaming. So I would have to imagine that, I don't know if this is 100% true, but anytime their own direct store is saying this, it makes me wonder, golly, how long are they going to, how long are they going to support the PlayStation 4 for? Now, I understand they already got 100+ million people out there that are already on the console. They could simply say, look, we're putting more of our resources on the PlayStation 5, getting that out the door, getting those numbers up, and we're just going to continue to feed the PlayStation 4 guys that already have the PS4 the content. And once the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro are completely off the shelf, that's it. That's the number we're going to deal with, and we're going to flood the market with PlayStation 5s. I mean, that could be a bit of the strategy from Jim Ryan and his team, but I guess only time will tell. yeah, if you were a person out there that wanted a PlayStation 4 Pro or PlayStation 4, you might have waited a little longer. I doubt that anybody that listens to this podcast has ever done that, but maybe you have a friend that may have wanted one and wanted to wait. I'm not saying rush out and get one. It's a ton of these things out in the stores and in the wild, but you know, if that was something you wanted to do, then you might just want to look into getting one maybe a little sooner than later. But we'll see what happens. We'll keep our hand on the pulse with this situation. But let's get back into some Switch news. And is this the last story? Yes, this is the last story this week. I just hit you guys with a couple of boom, boom, booms. But wait a minute. Before we go any further, though, speaking of PlayStation, now PlayStation is having a sale this week. It's going to be a really good sale, a Christmas holiday sale, as it were. Now, right here, I had to do this, man. I love you guys, man. I'm dead serious. I got a lot of love in my heart for you guys because y'all rock with me, and I appreciate that. I appreciate it more than you guys could ever know. And while I'm saying that, I have to give a special shout out to Mr. Free Fly Ferret Fly, Brother Fly, and Miss Alice. Oh man, what you guys did for me was amazing. I greatly, humbly appreciated it. I'm not going to say what it was on this episode because certain people may hear it and it might ruin it, but I appreciated it so much. It really touched my heart, y'all. So thank y'all for the hard work. Thank you guys for listening to the show and, you know, just supporting the podcast. Truly means a lot. So with that being said, you know, like I said, I really thank y'all. Like I said, the numbers went up. The show charted. I mean, good grief. It's been a fantastic year. It's been great. And I love giving back to y'all. So I have here, I did it for my Xbox brethren. You know, you guys know I'm an Xbox fan through and through. But I'm also a Nintendo Switch fan, and I'm a PlayStation fan. I'm a console polygamist, people. That's what I am. I love them all. And right here, for the PlayStation, I have a $25 gift card. Hopefully, this will help you guys to purchase something. Well, one of you, I can't say guys, but somebody out there that redeems this, I hope it helps you to get something that you've had your eye on. And it's just me, just like I said, as a small token of saying thank you guys for the support. So here we go. Once again, get your crayon ready, man. Get your pen, your paper, everything you need to write this down. Now, here it is for $25 on the PlayStation Store. The code is as follows: GAN57MNJM998. Write that down. Hopefully you're able to get yourself something that you enjoyed. I mean, that you enjoyed, golly, that you will hopefully enjoy, or you can put it to something, some DLC, whatever the case may be. I'm being long-winded here, but feel free to let me know that you got it so I can shout you out, and yeah, I'd be glad to do that. But moving on into the last story of, I guess, the year this year, let's go into some Nintendo Switch news. Now, if you have been waiting for another Crazy Taxi sequel, then you're in for some kind of good news. It's not Crazy Taxi, I'm going to tell you that. But there is a game releasing on February 23rd, 2021, that's called Taxi Chaos. Now, when you look at it, it looks like a blatant, I mean, good grief, a blatant ripoff of Crazy Taxi, and you would say to yourself, well, good grief, these guys are gonna get sued by Sega. Nope, not quite. Because Sega, they will actually be distributing the game in Asia and Japan along with Epic Soft. But over in America, the American version, that's going to be published by GS2 Games. I would tell you, if you were, like I said, like myself, I was a huge Crazy Taxi fan on the Dreamcast. Dreamcast just had some of the best games on that console. Man, just such an amazing, golly, just an amazing console, man. The system was so ahead of its time. We have never seen to this day another VMU unit. That virtual memory unit that they had where you could take it around with you, plug it up to other VMUs, y'all could play against each other. That has never been emulated ever again. Having that screen on the Dreamcast controller, we have never seen another screen on a controller. I mean, you could say the Switch, but that's not quite the same thing, not at all. I mean, you got to be in portable mode to really get that. But to have it where you could look at your Dreamcast VMU and run the plays on NFL 2K, so ahead of its time. So Crazy Taxi for me, it definitely holds a special place in my gaming heartbone, man. It was excellent. And I've been waiting for something like this. And I also want to tell you guys, this actually isn't just going to be on the Switch. I just remembered it's actually going to be coming to the PlayStation. I believe it's the PS4 and the Xbox One. I don't think it was PS5 and Xbox Series X. So be on the lookout for it. Just type in, once again, Taxi Chaos. Check it out. It looks really cool. Graphically, I'll tell you, it's not like unbelievable, but it puts you right back there into the Crazy Taxi universe. But anyway, guys, that is the end of the gaming news this year, I guess. God dog. Now, I guess, with that being said, I still gotta keep with the format, man. You know, I gotta ask y'all a question. And I know you guys saw it already, but we're gonna go over it officially, man. Now, does Cyberpunk prove cross-gen development is a bad idea? Because we know that on the PC, for the most part, I'm not saying it's a perfect gem on PC, but it's having far less problems over there on the PC, especially for people running it with a 3090. I mean, that's, golly, that thing is pretty amazing to look at. But I'm just thinking that if they didn't have to go down so many levels to these Jaguar cores that are in the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, would they have had this many problems? Does this prove that cross-generation development is very, very hard and they shouldn't do it? Now, I understand that something like Miles Morales, it stands out on both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5, and they're able to make it sing. But not every developer, I would have to imagine, and that's a much shorter game. It's far less ambitious than a Cyberpunk 2077. I think that it has to get to the point where if a game is being extra ambitious and you're trying to do 100 different things, that you just might want to say, look, let's not develop to the lowest common denominator because it's just going to be way too low. Let's make it exclusively for the current generation of consoles and let's just take it from there. You know, because it has to get to the point where gaming has to continue to move forward, and you can't continue to move it forward when you continue to move it backwards, trying to put it on old console hardware. So that is my question to you guys. Hopefully you guys will answer it, and if you do, you can do it 2 different ways to be a part of the next listener feedback, which is going to be stacked. I'm looking at you, one subset, brother, God dog, man, you are awesome, man, but woo, you loaded a brother up with a lot of feedback, man. So with that being said, shout out to one subset. God dog, that brother keeps me on my full toes, man. All 10 toes down dealing with that brother. God dog. But if you want to be a part of the first episode of 2021, when it comes to the listener feedback, you can do it 2 different ways. Either call in at 443-216-9934 and let your voice be heard, or you can email the show, and the email address is the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I was your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and I just want to say, man, guys, it has been one heck of a ride with y'all this year. I gotta say, this is the most consistent that I've been able to be on the podcast since it started almost 5 years ago. I've had the podcast going, and I've seen it grow the most in this year out of the previous 4. So I just really want to thank you guys for the unbelievable support. You guys have been amazing. It's because of y'all I continue to do the podcast, because as a person that creates creates some content for the podcast, and it's a small platform, I know that, but creating content, it can be so difficult sometimes if you don't really have people listening, or people letting you know that they're listening and giving you the support. It's the days when you don't feel like writing or researching, or spending an hour or 2 trying to find something to talk about. It's in those times that, as a person that creates content, I hate to say that, let me just say, as a person that talks on a microphone, how about that? As a person that does this, it's in those times when you really don't feel like doing it, but that people are really, supportive, and they're rocking with you, and they let you know that they're in your corner. It helps you to get through those rough days where you just don't feel like doing anything. And that's for anybody that you guys like that are content creators. I'll give them that title. I'm just a guy that talks on the microphone. Let them know that you appreciate them, man. It really, really helps, because when you're doing it, I mean, people get down too, especially when they don't think anybody's listening, or, tuning in. It really can, it kind of hurts a little bit, not like hurting with tears or anything like that, but it makes you kind of want to give up, at times. So I want to just let you guys know that you guys have definitely been a major crutch for me, getting through this year during the times that I didn't really feel like writing and getting on the microphone. It's like, man, I think about one subset Tekken when he writes in. Think about Vaughn, Cody, man, matter of fact, man, I'm going to shout y'all out, man. I don't want to forget anybody. Hold on. I'm going to bring this up right now, so I can do this the right way. I don't want to forget any of you guys that always write in and, just show support, man. I'm getting ready to pull it up right now, because y'all know my memory is shot. Come on. This ain't nothing brand new and exciting. Y'all know that I'm tore up when it comes to remembering, but I definitely want to say, man, thank you again, Sir William X. You start writing in this year. It's been great getting your emails and, being able to talk to you, as well as Like I said, one subset, Tekken, Cody Clark, man, shout out to Crimson Phoenix. He wrote in this year as well. Once again, shout out to Vaughn as well, man. I mean, just all of you guys. And once again, Free Fly Ferret, brother, just, man, just thank y'all. That's all I can do. And all of you guys that listen on a regular basis, even if you don't write in or call in, just you guys being here and supporting the podcast. It's humbly and greatly appreciated. So next year, we're going to get back at it. Hopefully I'll have some more guests on and things will be bigger and better than they were this year. At least that's what I'm going to strive for and I'm going to aim for. So, with that being said, now I feel like I can end the show for the year. For you guys, once again, that celebrate the holidays, hopefully you guys will be able to do it safely, enjoy your families, stay safe, and as well as the new year when that comes in for you guys to celebrate that as well. Be safe and enjoy your time with your family, enjoy your time with your friends, safely, of course. And with that being said, until next year in 2021, in January, when we do it again, good brothers and sisters, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye. Whoa. Wait a minute. I couldn't end it just yet. I couldn't. Hopefully, you guys held on to this last part. How could I forget my dudes, Mike, Jay, and Goose? Shout out to y'all two brothers. Y'all were on an episode this year talking about the Xbox Series X. Thank you, good brothers. Now, with that being said, I'm gone for real now. You guys take care and have a good one. Bye-bye. Shout out to AB.